Okay, hello and good morning, everyone. Welcome to Easy Markets Daily Picture International with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today is the 26th of January, 2024. So, welcome, everyone. Welcome to this Friday's morning session where we're going to have a very quick look at the markets, a few of the charts, the usual stuff. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendations and should not be considered as such. This material should not be taken as an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. Look, I'll give you a few seconds to read the rest. I'll disappear from that little left corner and I'll be back in a bit. Okay, so now then, also just before we jump in, as always, just a quick mentioning of our Easy Markets website, which you can always check out for more information about us. If you have any questions, reach out to us. We'll try to help you out. So, guys, let's see what the market has prepared for us. So I hope you're all feeling nice and relaxed. It's Friday. We had a busy week. In general. So yes, let's see how the week kind of ended up. And look, I talked about this one. Let's see what worked out, what didn't work out, what I was saying in the beginning of this week. So yes, first of all, of course, as always, I want to start off with Nikkei. Nikkei drifted nicely to the downside. It moved here towards this little territory right there. Or should I say, came closer to this 61.8. So after testing the uppers, the 78.6 here on the Fibonacci extension, it drifted back down and it's kind of already now getting closer to this. To be honest, it seems like this we could see a test of it, and I would really love to see something here, and I'll just tell you in a bit. What I would really love to see here is a test of this territory, a rebound back up, maybe a creation of a lower high, and then a drift back down. Why? Because then I would have myself a nice, beautiful head and shoulders pattern. But again, the market doesn't do what I want it to do, so not always. So that's why I will have to just go with the flow. At this point, I would say this way that if you're looking at some lower levels, then yes, there is a chance to aim lower for this territory, somewhere around this 35,500 zone, something like that, maybe a little bit below that. But yeah, for now, that's what I am aiming for. In terms of the upside, a push above the 36,425 territory here is required, and if we can get that push, then yes, great, more buyers could join in. We could target that 78.6% retracement, and then we'll just kind of go from there. So yeah, that's my simplistic game plan here on Nikkei. This morning we did get some Japanese data. Let me just refresh my memory on that. The Tokyo CPI came out, the core and the headline both came out at 1.6%, so plus 1.6. That's below the previous number, not to mention the forecast, but yeah, that's below the previous. So in a way, we could not probably expect any how to say it. If initially there were talks about the BOJ going for some rate hikes, but now with this inflation, I mean, it's just I think that it's all pushing all these talks away. And however, you would normally think that that Nikkei should go higher, should push, more to the upside, but I think it's now reacting more to what's happening in the U.S. stock market. Again, initially it was all nice and dandy, but now, yes, we're seeing a bit of a retracement, and I think that if the U.S. indices continue to correct, because yesterday, okay, I'll get to indices and why I'm saying continue. I'll get to that in a bit. But for now, I think that any number from Japan, I don't think that it might kind of how to say it, might not really matter so much. I think that what's going to be happening in the US, that's what's going to be what's going to matter here for Nikkei. China 50, let's have a look at that one. This one continues to flirt with the upper side of the falling channel. In general, this week, and the beginning of this week, I told you that basically I need to see a push above this 11,158 territory in order to consider a move higher. We got that. Great. Now, my next step is, like I said, I need, in order to go for some higher levels, a break of this upper side of the falling channel, and the 50-day EMA here would be needed for me. This level, ignore this level actually. I think that it's better to mark this instead. Let me just put this on the chart. This 11,386, approximately around here. That's the current highest point of this week. A nice good push above that may attract even more buyers. Let me just put something in the chat box before I miss it. Good morning, everyone. There we go. I'm the first one. Yes. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everybody who's tuning in right now. I hope you're all having a wonderful, start of Friday. I hope you're all feeling nice and fresh after the week. Yeah, and you're really not wishing the weekend to come quicker, right? I mean, of course. But anyway, ASX 200. Look, with the China 50, there's not much to say here. Any else? If you're looking for some lower levels on this one, I think that the better option is to wait just for a drop below that 11,000 mark again, because again, so far that area is providing fantastic support. ASX 200. So this one's also the futures here. I'm talking about the futures. Of course, the Australia is closed today, but the futures are moving. And yes, we did decline. And yesterday, JD Invest, if I'm not mistaken, I don't know if you're here watching today or not, but yeah, he mentioned, he kind of pointed out that on a weekly chart, it's actually very nice to see that it got a hold up below this key resistance area. I mean, yes, I do like to look at these weekly, daily charts, even sometimes monthly, because it does give me a clear indication of what could happen next. So, long story short, for now, I would say if you're looking for some higher levels, you'll have to wait for next week to see what's happening here. If we can pop above the 7,529 territory, this 30 zone basically, again, but the way everything's shaping up, it seems like we could see a bit of a retracement. Let's let's not rush into things. I mean, let's see how the U.S. market plays out today. Speaking of the devil, look, yesterday was a bit of a a bit of a roller coaster ride again, so it was going higher, but then it drifted back down. But look, at the end of the day, on my Dow Jones futures here, we still remain above my 50% on the Fibonacci extension, which is drawn from the lowest point of 2020 to the highest point of 2022, and then to the lowest point of 2022. So I'm still having this, and this you can see clearly that it is holding nicely here, holding nicely above this 50% on the Fibonacci extension. So long story short, if you're looking for some higher levels, I think that the better option here is to wait. And of course, the most important, to wait for the PCE that's going to come out today, guys. Yesterday, before I jump into the PCE, yesterday we got the US preliminary GDPs, and well, I told you that what I'm expecting is a number above the forecast, but below the previous. And congratulations to everybody who was thinking that this way, because it came out plus 3.3, so the forecast was plus 2. The previous number was plus 4.9. So it just nicely in that middle between those two figures. The actual number came out. So yes, the market kind of, let's say, did rally initially, but then declined, and then kind of, still remained. So it seems like it's undecided, and I think that's mainly going to be keeping an eye on the PCE. And this is what I was talking about with yesterday. That look, if we don't see any major movement in the area here, or let's say major movement before Friday, then yes, I mean, maybe we'll leave that for Friday. Now, guys, something that I really wanted to kind of, it's too bad that I cannot do a poll here on the on TradingView chat box, but I'm wondering, I'm curious about your thoughts on the core PCE number, year-on-year figure. What do you think? What do you think will be? Will it be lower than 3%, or will it be higher than 3%? Actually, you know what? Let me just drop this message in the chat box here. Do you think the core PCE, let me just, the core PCE will, come out at today higher than 3% or lower? There we go. Just a quick, like I said, just a quick poll. I'm just curious, what do you think could happen here? And let's see. Because again, like I said, me personally, I mean, look, I'm not the smartest kid on the block here, but I try to gather information as well everywhere. So, hey, I'm just curious. Maybe I'm gonna be missing out on something here. So that's why I'm asking. So look, guys, let me know. But me personally, I'm kind of leaning towards actually the lower side, and the year-on-year is expected to go from 2.6 to 2.6. That's the current forecast. In general, I am kind of leaning for a lower number slightly, so let's see. But I'm leaning for a lower number, but actually, you know what? Actually, no, wait. I think we can reiterate that. Let me just double check the normal CPI number that came out recently. I think it was on the higher side. Yeah, just a sec. So yes, it was on the higher side. So guys, I'm kind of leaning maybe actually towards a slightly higher number. We'll see how that comes out, of course. But it would be quite interesting if it does come out higher than the forecast. This could help the US dollar, which I'll get to in a bit. But it could help the indices, the US indices, to correct back down and go lower. So just kind of like I said, this is my call is that it's going to be a little bit higher. Not much, not by much, but a little bit higher. But again, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Let's see. But looking at the technical picture, look, it's very simple for me here. I mean, if we do drop again and stay below that 38,000 mark, then yes, I'm leaning towards the downside on the futures. And I'm going to go lower here, and we'll just take it from there. For the upside, I need to see a push over the 38,300 zone in order for me to get a little bit more comfortable with the upside. S&P 500. So the S&P 500, the picture here is quite nice as well, because we're stuck in this little territory. So nothing much to add here. It's the same game plan. For the upside, I need to see a push above the 4,833. For the downside, a drop below the 4,873 territory right there. NASDAQ 100. So yesterday NASDAQ declined, and let me just double check. So okay, it did. Let's put it this way. Let's rephrase that a little bit. It rallied initially. It went higher. Dow was the best performer, of course. NASDAQ was the worst performer, of course. And S&P was somewhere in between, as always. So basically, at the moment, what I'm saying, I mean, we had a decline here in the futures after hours. And well, we started declining already during the session, but more decline came after hours. So yeah, we saw this. But look, what's interesting here is that we still remained above the 17,463 territory. I spoke about this zone, and basically I need to see a nice good drop below that in order to go to the downside. For the upside, again, I need to push back above the 61.8% on the Fibonacci extension, which is drawn here from the lowest point of October of 2022 to the highest point of 2023, then to the, oh no, sorry, to the highest point of July of 2023 to the lowest point of October of 2023. So no, that's not the highest point of 23. The highest point of 23 was around here, basically. Yeah, but okay. So for now, somehow this 61.8 is doing a good job. It's working out, so I'll keep that for now as long as it's working. But yeah, for the downside, I'm looking at this little hurdle here. I really like it, and I want to see if we can get a nice good drop below that, and then we'll just kind of take it from there. So that's my game plan here on the Nasdaq. Let's have a look quickly at the weekly candle here. You can see that we're kind of in the negative territory for now in the futures. So let's see if we can kind of stabilize here and maybe remain in positive zone again. But of course, data dependent. Keep your eyes on the economic calendar. That's and keep your eyes on the CPI, PCE numbers. Which are coming out check the economic calendar. Actually, when are they coming out and at what time in your region they're coming out? So it's quite important, because then we will see a lot of volatility. The German index DAX, and yes, we continue to flirt with the upper side of the falling channel. Okay, that's still fine. Yesterday we got the ECB. It was fun to watch, actually, because it was like, nothing major. Basically, it was more of a, like, we confirmed the interest rates, the same interest rates. They were 4.5. Just let me double check. I think 4.5 interest rate decision, the same as previous. Then with the rate cuts, again, everybody was like hoping to to hear something from Christine Lagarde, like when are they planning to do some cuts. I mean, she mentioned a few times that it's like still premature to think about that. Okay, look, not much major stuff, or let's say in a way kind of stuff that we already know, just confirming. But I think they're waiting to see what's going to happen with the Fed next week. By the way, the Fed is coming out, so hey, we'll also wait for that. And the Fed, of course, will be keeping a close eye on the PCE today, the US PCE. So JD Invest, oh, there we go. I was mentioning you earlier, 50-50, but I think a little bit lower. Oh, okay, interesting. I'm kind of leaning a little bit more towards the upside, but again, maybe you're right. Maybe we'll see. We'll see. It's a like a freaking coin toss, honestly, a little bit. But sometimes it seems like, sometimes it feels like it's a little bit more clear, but sometimes it's actually a coin toss. But yeah, thank you very much for the contribution. I mean, I really appreciate that. But yeah, the German index, that's the situation here. I mean, look, I've talked about this idea with the German index here, that the prevailing we are in the falling channel. The prevailing trend is to the upside. We entered this, and this might be seen as a little pause before another further move north. However, if the upper side continues to hold, we could see a drift back down. In general, I really like this scenario, to see a drift back down, maybe a test of this zone again, the 23.6, rebound from it, create a higher low, and then push higher, and then break the downside line. So again, that's the beautiful scenario in my head. But again, let's wait and see. Let's wait and see. By the way, guys, I mean, who's watching here, I mean, also let me know what you think. I mean, to the question above there, like, what do you think of core PCE, where it could come out today. Yes, so let's jump into the FTSE 100. Oh, by the way, with the German DAX again, if we do eventually end up staying above the upper side of the falling channel, then yes, of course, I will lean a little bit more towards the upside. FTSE 100. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. Basically, I mean, okay. Sorry. I mean, I'm getting a moment of you know, bragging moment here. But look, this is what I talked about in the beginning of this week. I said, dude, if we start climbing back above the 23.6 here, I will consider a move towards the 38.2, towards my EMAs, where a little holdup could occur. There we go. It happened. Fantastic. So what's next? Next is this, that if we do break this downside line drawn from the high of the 2nd of January, then yes, more buyers could join in. But again, my little problem here is that we do have this downside line, and we do have our all my EMAs here on the daily chart, and basically we could break the downside line, but we could, let's say, stall somewhere near the 50-day EMA, struggle with that, and then push maybe back down. So that's why maybe I should drag my arrow this way. Oh, and by the way, I'll get rid of the Fibonacci. I think it's a little bit in the way. Yep, there we go. So I think that the better option is just to wait for a push above this territory, this 7,574, 76 zone. If we can get a nice clearance of that, then yes, great, more buyers could join in. But for now, I should not exclude the scenario of the downside, but for that we need to see a hold up below this downside line, and then we could take it from there. US dollar index. So yes, there we go. We are moving nicely to the upside here again. I talked about this, if you remember. I said I'm going to get rid of that upside line, which was a little bit in the way. So we've pushed above the 103.21 zone right here. And now my next question is can we climb and remain above all the EMAs here? And if we can, wonderful, I will continue targeting the upside. So for now, everything's kind of pointing more towards the upside, but of course, we are keeping an eye on the PCEs. We're not really jumping into anything yet. Because it might, jump around here a little bit. So this barrier it got violated, so we stayed above it. So actually I can get rid of it. This highlighted zone as well. Just kind of focus on this little territory here on the downside. If we do fall below it, then yes, I will go lower. I will go towards that 102.38 zone, something like that here, and then further south. But again, for that, I need to drop below this territory, below this 102.80 zone in general. And then, yeah, we will be placed below all my EMAs on the daily chart, potentially attracting more sellers into the game. But for now, we're flirting with the 200-day EMA. Let's see if we can clear it. Gold. This is exactly okay. Look, I mean, this is exactly what I was talking about. Basically, I said to you yesterday that look, while it remains in here, it's just going to be a pain in the bottom. Why? Because it's just going to be like moving sideways, could be oscillating around the 50-day EMA, and it seems like it cannot really leave it behind, and just likes to hug it, and just stays around here. So okay, fair enough. And this is what like I said, kept on saying from the beginning of this week, that for me to consider some higher levels of break of this downside line drawn from the high of the 28th of December is required. For the downside, I need to drop below the 2000 territory somewhere-ish. Yep, 2002 maybe could do. And then I could, aim lower if we do stay below the 100-day EMA. So, long story short, guys, for now, I would say that if you are looking at some higher levels, yes, stick to the same game plan. I mean, just wait for a break of this downside line, and then we could take it from there. For the downside, a drop below the 2000 zone is needed. While we remain in here, I'm just not doing anything. I'm just observing the price action. Let's jump into silver. Silver is a little bit more interesting. So yes, we broke the downside line, we remained above it. So what's next? Well, next is an idea of seeing some higher levels, basically. So yeah, let's see if that's gonna happen or not. But look, this downside line was a little bit on the tentative side. It was just kind of like a good mark here, a good indication of like how to kind of position ourselves in a way. But if we somehow start ignoring this downside line, don't be surprised. If we start falling back below it and we fall below this 22.51 territory, that's from where I'm going to lean a little bit more towards the downside. And then we'll just kind of go from there. For the upside, yes, for the upside, I need to see, I have a bunch of arrows here to the upside, but I need to see this one kind of remaining above this downside line. If it continues to do so, then yes, I'm aiming for my EMAs, which are somewhere around the 23.30 zone, around there, and then I'll take it from there. Oil, there we go. Oil moved nicely to the upside, so I'm very, very happy. This is what I was targeting yesterday, so that's okay. Also, something that I've put here in the on our channel. Basically, let me just go into our profile. There we go. So the idea that I threw out yesterday was here is Brent. I was talking about Brent. So yes, it was similar in a way, in similar fashion, but I was talking about Brent here. There was a 4-hour chart. You can check us out there as well. Yep, we ended up nicely moving to the upside. We broke this area, so that's great. So this is working out nicely. So like I said, we do throw out these things here occasionally, so in different languages. So yes, check us out there. I mean, you might find it useful. But yeah, like I said, here, coming back to WTI oil, we've tested my territories, the 76.18, 76. We came closer to the 200 EMA. So look, now if you want to see some higher levels, I think that the best option here is to maybe wait for a push above the 200 EMA. Again, let's not rush into things, of course, but could be an option to utilize. But hey, for now, I'm going to observe the price action. If we somehow stay here in this territory, I'm just going to remain calm. If we do start pushing above the 200-day EMA, that's where my excitement could come in. Natural gas. So just bear with me one moment. I'll disappear for a little bit, but I'll leave you with this chart, and I'll come back in a bit. Sorry about this, guys. I had to clear up my nose a little bit because I think this cold is not really leaving me. I think it's just sticking around and like waiting until my immune system will drop a little bit, and then it will kick in again. But, that's why I'm trying to keep my immune system all the time in how to say it, in good position. Right. Beautiful decline. I mean, this was one of the worst days. I don't know, can't remember since when. I mean, we have not seen this for what was that, 22 June, something like that. Yeah, something like in June we saw like a big 1-day decline like that. Yeah, I think it was somewhere here, June 14th. Let me just double check from, let's say, from the top to bottom during that day. Let's see what happened here. So this way, and this. Let's put it this way: minus 21%. Okay, and that's from the top to bottom. And in this situation, what happened? Yeah, around minus 25%. Okay, look, that has been a major move. In general, and this is where everybody's like thinking, what the hell happened here? I mean, why did natural gas kind of fall off the cliff like this? Well, yesterday I think the report started coming out saying that they've used much more supplies than needed in the U.S. So because they had like very cold. A cold period. Now, normally you would think, but hey, that's like lower supply. That means like, should the price go up? Well, initially it was going up, but then the meteorologists came out saying that, oh, you know what, in the next kind of week or so, and so we are expecting like better than normal weather, so above average, that means that they won't need that much gas to heat up. So So basically, the supply story kind of was overshadowed by the meteorologists who expect the weather. I think I read somewhere like up to 7th of November, 7th of February to be better than better than average. So there you go. That's the result we were getting. That's the the drop we're seeing. So what's next? Well, the fact that we broke the upside line is of course, is a bit of a bearish indication. So in a way, I'm kind of leaning a little bit more towards the downside as long as we remain below this upside line. If we start pushing back up here, yes, if we push back above this upside line, then yes, I will consider a move to the upside, back to the upside. Fibonacci needs to go. No longer needed. Yep, I'll stick to my levels instead for now. So, yes, that's the situation here. Like I said, it's very interesting. Natural gas, if you like to trade that one, I mean, I feel you. I mean, it's quite an interesting instrument to look at. Yeah, guys, but yeah, of course, but not always you get these beautiful gifts of from heaven, especially if you're a bear in this case. And yeah, this is what happened here. Anyway, Cocoa, something as well that I wanted to show you. Cocoa is drifting back to the downside. It seems like the also the supply stabilized a little bit in general. The crop here is yeah, not going through the best times, because again, all the trees, a lot of trees are sick. This product, basically this crop, will eventually suffer even more. The more we pollute the planet, of course, the more the more climate changes, the more the trees get sick, and they basically they also have an immune system, right? So I mean, they also struggle to adapt, and we humans, we're like, I don't want to say that, but we can adapt to anything, right? I mean, but I didn't want to use the kind of the one of the bugs, basically. We adapt, we pollute the planet, and then we adapt to the polluted planet, and then we continue destroying everything else around us. So yeah. But anyway, looking at this picture here from technical perspective, basically we had a very nice move to the downside here from this 4,832 zone. And well, at the moment, I'm kind of leaning towards the downside. Let's drop in a Fibonacci. Let's see if there's any sense in this. Okay, we did the 23.6. Maybe we'll go to the 38.2. That's what I'm going to probably aim for now. I think that this way needs to be drawn. Yes, I think that makes a little bit more sense. So the 38.2, and that's what I'm going to be targeting. Then I'm going to target the 50%, and then so on and so on. Maybe eventually going towards the 50-day EMA. Bitcoin, let's jump into that one very quickly. So again, not much to add here, but I just wanted to quickly run this by you, because I said to you, look, this downside line is something to keep an eye on, because again, if we continue to trade below that, then yes, we will well, I will continue aiming lower. But if we start breaking the downside line and we push above the 38.2% retracement here on the Fibonacci, then that's great. This is where I'm going to consider slightly higher levels. And another thing I've mentioned before is that look, there's this little formation that I kind of keep on monitoring, and somehow works out. Basically, when we have a steep decline, for example, and then you had a gradual decline, you eventually get a breakout to the upside. But again, that kind of aligns itself with the break of this downside line. So either way, that little idea or not, still I need to see a breakout here. Ethereum, very quickly. So this one's still bearish. I mean, we're moving lower. However, I'll get more bearish if we do clear this 2,165 zone for the upside, a break of this downside line. That's it. Excuse me. Oh. Then Litecoin. Litecoin is yes, still holding above this lower, or should I say the upside support line here, drawn from the low of the 11th of September of last year. So yeah, I mean, at the moment I cannot say anything else. As long as we remain above this, then there is a chance to go back to the upside here, back to my EMAs. But if we start clearing this, if we start breaking the upside line, then of course, yes, I will aim to the downside. AUDUSD. Not much to say here, because it's the same game plan, the same thing is valid. But look, I think that this pair is waiting for the PCE today. So if you are looking at some higher levels, then wait for a break of this downside line. If you're looking at some lower levels, then at least maybe wait for a drop somewhere below this territory. This might increase the chances of this pair to go lower. But again, at this point, while we're in this territory, I am not really doing anything. I'm just observing the price action, and as you can see exactly why, because we keep on getting these outbursts above the 100 and the 200-day EMA, but then we drift back down and stay below it, but we don't move lower. So yeah, that's something that I don't really like. AUDJPY, beautiful reversal, a movement away from this downside line, yes, but we're still above the 50-day EMA. So in a way, if we somehow continue to trade above the 50-day EMA but below this downside line, then we're getting into a squeeze. So it's a squeeze within a bigger squeeze. So if you want to see some lower levels on this one, wait for a drop below the 50-day EMA at least. If you're looking for some higher levels, then wait for a break of this downside line, and then yep, we could go from there. AUDCAD. AUDCAD is another interesting animal here. So yesterday we saw Canadian dollar picking up the interest. I mean, buying interest, and it was amazing. It was drifting nicely to the downside. Sorry, to the upside. To the upside, the Canadian dollar against its major counterparts. And yes, I mean, it was a bit of a roller coaster ride. I'll show you that on. Do I have it here? USDCAD or EUROCAD. I mean, that was amazing. But anyway, looking at this one, still the same scenario is valid. I need to see a break of this downside line in order to go higher. For the downside, I need to see a break of this upside support line in order to go lower. CHFJPY, there we go. We're breaking the upside line, so not everything is good in the bull block. Yep, but hey, maybe this upside line could be seen as a tentative one, right? So that's why let's get rid of it and just focus on some levels. So for the upside, I still need to see a push over the 171.50 territory. For the downside, well, I'm leaning actually for the downside right now, but I'm only leaning towards this territory, the 169.30, and then I'll take it from there. At this point, I cannot say anything else apart from that. So basically, we could be stuck in a range here for a little bit. So in that case, I would say we need to respect that idea and wait for the breakout through the range. So basically something like this. So yes, I'm kind of leaning a little bit more towards the downside. However, we could see a test of this territory, the 169.30. Maybe we could rebound back up, and then we could take it from there. CADCHF, there we go. Beautiful reversal. Look at this. I mean, this is what I was talking about. So initially, when the interest rate decision came out on Wednesday, we saw a huge decline here, but then the bulls said, you know what? No, that's not everything is that bad. So there we go. Let's push back up, and there we flew. Also, oil jumped. So oil kind of contributed to this as well, to this strength of the Canadian dollar. And there we go. We are pushing back up. We're rebounding from this upside line, and we're kind of traveling back to this 0.67 kind of 80 barrier, or should I say the 100-day EMA shown as the green line. So if we clear that one, then yes, we could go higher. But at this point, we're above the 50-day EMA. That's great. I'm aiming for the 100-day EMA for now, and then I'll take it from there. If we do reverse somehow sharply to the downside and break this upside support line drawn from the low of the 29th of December, I'll go lower. USDJPY. I'm not going to say anything else, but apart from this, I mean, this is just kind of seems to be working out. So if you're not really comfortable with this arrow, I'm not blaming you. So I would actually rather wait maybe for a, let me get rid of this. I'll wait for a push of the 148.80 zone just to be a little bit more on the safe side. If I can get that move, wonderful, I will go higher. For the downside, I need to see a drop below the 146.41 zone right here, and then yes, we could take it from there. USDCHF, so we are rebounding as well nicely back above this 0.8666 territory. And yeah, I would say this way that if you're looking at some higher levels, then a push, this push back above the 0.8666 is actually giving a bit of reassurance for, for some bulls. Where we could aim for the 100-day EMA initially, and then then maybe the 200-day EMA after that. For the downside, I need to see a break of this upside line. If I can get that drop, then yes, wonderful, more sellers could join in. US dollar against the Canadian dollar, and this one is yeah, it's yesterday the Canadian dollar did strengthen, and this is exactly what I was talking about. I said that if you're looking for some higher levels in this one, wait for a break with this downside line. The downside line continued to provide resistance. We saw a decline, but I said to you as well that my downside scenario will come from around here, from around this 1.3415. If I can get that drop, wonderful, I will go lower. GBPUSD. GBPUSD is stuck. It's flirting with this downside line here, but it struggles to overcome it. Now it drifted lower, and it's now struggling with this 1.2690 territory. So it keeps on flirting with it, but yes, maybe a little minor false breakouts, but still struggling with it. So if I said to you that if we do drop and stay below this one, then yes, I will lean towards this 1.2615 territory, and then we could take it from there. Before that, I will aim for the 50-day EMA, but then I'll aim, if that gets cleared, I mean, I'll aim for this 1.2615 at the moment. But I need to see the body of the daily candle staying below this 1.2690 territory in order to go further south. For the upside, 1.2690, or should I say, sorry, the other way around. For the upside, the break of this downside line is required. Until then, I'm not really getting comfortable with some higher levels. GBPJPY, the same story. Again, I'm just repeating myself, to be honest, on this one. I'm watching this 188.66 territory. I need to see a nice good pop, and I need to see the body of the daily candle staying above that area. And yes, if we can get that move, wonderful, I will go higher. That's it, nothing else. For the downside, I'm also taking a bit of a conservative approach. Drop below the 186.17 territory here would be required in order to go lower. GBP Aussie, something that I haven't picked up for quite a while, because look, we're stalling near this territory. It's not a very good area of resistance. We're just kind of stalling around this near this area, near this 1.9328, and to be honest, maybe it's actually should not be carrying much significance. You know what? I prefer, I think, to remove everything and start fresh. So ignoring all the other barriers here, like for example this one, or actually, we can actually keep that one. This one's actually quite nice. The highest point of October of 2023, near the 1.9342 zone, is doing a very good job so far. Yes, so let's see. Actually, you know what? Let's stick to it. Let's stick to it. If we do clear the 1.9342, then yes, I'll go towards the 1.9420. And if that gets clear, the forthcoming higher high will be confirmed, guys. So something like this, basically. So let's go slowly on this one. If you don't like this area, like I said, keep an eye on the 1.9420. Just to be a little bit more on the safe side. But for the downside, if you're looking for some lower levels, maybe, well, you should be very careful, because, look, we could, if we do fall below the 1.92, kind of, let's round it up here, maybe 10, 1.9210, if we do fall below that, I will consider a move lower, but only up until the EMAs, because maybe they're going to provide support, and we could see something like that, so that's why only, for now, it's only the EMAs. EURGBP. EURGBP is moving nicely to the downside. So far, so good. Euro yesterday fell down, and well, this is what we got. So GBP was not the strongest one as well, but against the euro yesterday, euro suffered, and yeah, I think that the euro traders, euro bulls, didn't like Lagarde's kind of press conference, and there we go. We saw the decline. My target got reached, 0.8523. I talked about this from the beginning of this week. Hey, I have nothing else to add. This is how it's working. This is how it's working out. So far so good. So if you're looking for some lower levels, I think that, yeah, the simple option here is to just wait for a drop below the 0.8523 and then, yeah, target the lowest point of August of 2023, or actually the lowest point of 2023 in general, because that's the lowest point of 2023. And EURCAD. So there we go. That's the roller coaster. I mean, this is just amazing. Look at this. I mean, we had a strong move to the upside on Wednesday when the BOC interest rate decision came out. We rallied. Then on yesterday we pushed a little bit to the upside, but then we failed to stay above the upper side of the box, and there we go. We drifted sharply to the downside. And there we go. My scenario is working out. So I said that if we do somehow fall back below these EMAs, the 50 and the 100, my next target is the 200-day EMA, which coincides with this upside support line, tentative of course, but nevertheless an upside support line drawn from the low the 2nd of January, and we're clearing it. And now, to be honest, I'm targeting the 1.4551 zone. And yeah, okay, that's a very good target. And in general, we are in a range. We're looking at the prevailing trend to the downside, where the next breakout could potentially happen to the downside, because again, that's according to the TA rules. So technical analysis rules. So yes, just kind of be careful with that, guys. And finally, if you be careful with that if you're a bull. And finally, EURUSD. So there we go. Broke the this territory, the 1.0845, and we've tested my 200-day EMA. So now, of course, all eyes are on the US PCEs today, because this pair will get affected because the DXY will be moving, and we could see, yes, EURUSD having some crazy moves. In general, I'm leaning towards the downside on this one as long as we remain below the 200-day EMA. Yes, I'm leaning towards the downside. I'm targeting this upside line as well, drawn from the low of the 3rd of October. So, hey, what else can I add here? Apart from the fact that I'm still bearish on this one. However, look, if somehow it comes out as a surprise and the DXY kind of weakens on that news, then yeah, certainly we could see a sharp reversal back to the upside here. But my upside scenario is coming from around here, from around this 1.0897 territory right here, or should I say, or actually, no, let's put it this way, 1.09 zone. That's what I'm looking at here for the upside, and if we can get that nice clearance, wonderful, I will go higher. But until then, nothing. I'm just going to observe the price action, or I'm going to lean a little bit more towards the downside, cautiously bearish. But again, waiting for the PCE to come out. So I think that the more action we'll see slightly before the number, and then after the number comes out. So yeah. And then, of course, so we could see some action. Let me just double check something here as well. Then we could see some action at like an hour and 15 minutes, an hour and 30 minutes later after the number comes out. Why? Because we'll get the US pending home sales as well. So it could be a bit of a market mover as well. So keep that in mind. So guys, that's it. That's it for this session. I really appreciate all of you sticking around and watching this one till the end. I really do, guys. So thank you very much. I honestly, like, a massive thank you for this week. Really hope you found something useful here. So really appreciate your attendance, and hope you'll have a fantastic trading day, guys, and have a beautiful weekend. And the most important for today, stay safe, have your stop losses in place, risk only what you can afford to lose, don't overtrade, and everything will be fine. And I'll see you on Monday, guys, at my 200th episode, which is coming out on Monday. Yes, I'll try to do something new in there a little bit. So in terms of actually, I'll see if I can also stream it on another very popular platform. So hey, let's wait and see. Maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. Depends. Well, depends on the technicalities, but so far from all the tests, it seems to be working. But hey, let's not rush into things. Anyway, thank you very much, guys, and I shall see you. Yeah, I shall see you on Monday. Have a beautiful trading day, and have a safe and nice weekend as well. Bye-bye.
Hey there, thank you very much for watching this one till the end. I really appreciate that. So like this video, we speculate your next mouse movement will be towards the subscribe button.